We're very, very happy to welcome Radney Foster here tonight. He's been on our radar for a long time and wanting to get him here to the Fur Peace Ranch. So I'm so glad you're all here to give him a nice Fur Peace Ranch welcome. Please welcome Texas songwriter Radney Foster.
Weren't they something? I am so humbled to be on this stage. This is such a cool place, and Yorma is so, he and Vanessa are so inviting and so great. And so thank y'all for letting me come do this. And I'm just going to start with a country song that I wrote a million years ago. Just call me lonesome, heartbroken and some, 'cause I ain't got no one since you've been gone. You call me baby, I've got a new name. Don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on. Call me your one and only, but now you only call me someone you once knew. You were my angel before some stranger stole your heart and stole my world when he stole you. Just call me lonesome, heartbroken and some, 'cause I ain't got no one since you've been gone. You call me baby, now I've got a new name. Don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on. I see you with him and fall apart again, remembering when I was the only man you needed. We said forever we'd be together. He came between us, and now forever lies in pieces. So just call me lonesome, heartbroken and some, 'cause I ain't got no one since you've been gone. You call me baby, now I've got a new name. I don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on. I don't need my old one, call me lonesome from now on. Thank you. Baby, where did you put my set list? Nope. Well, could someone get back my set list? I would really appreciate it. It all works out. So, this is the title song from my most recent record, and it is both a book of 10 pieces of short fiction and also 10 songs. A song for each story, and a story for each song. So this is called For You to See the Stars. Grandpa sold the house because the business failed. He said rock bottom is just solid ground to start again. When life ain't nothing like a fairy tale, you just gotta work and hope and pray and say amen. It's gotta get dark enough for you to see the stars shine like diamonds on black velvet. Love is just a word until you felt it, even when life falls apart, strong enough to break your heart. It's gotta get dark enough for you to see the stars. Darkness fell on me when I lost my dad. Girl, you were the light that got me through. You walked right beside me down that road to hell and back. And in that midnight hour I fell in love with you. It's gotta get dark enough for you to see the stars shine like diamonds on black velvet. Love is just a word until you felt it, even when life falls apart, strong enough to break your heart. It's gotta get dark enough for you to see the stars. Staring at the sky tonight, never felt so alive. Sometimes the lights have to go out for you to see what life's about. It's gotta get dark enough for you to see the stars move you like a work of art, strong enough to break your heart. It's gotta get dark enough for you to see the stars. See the stars. For you to see the stars. Thank you. This is Homer talked about doing really sad songs. I'm going to do 3 in a row here. This is about perspective and or the lack of it, and I don't know that when anybody's breaking up that we ever have a clear conscience or perspective on anything that goes on. This is called I've Got a Picture. got your arguments all in a line. I've got my reasons, nose to tail. The last hope of innocence got torn to shreds this time. You hate the memories and I'm cursing each detail. I got a picture and you got a photograph. We both see what we want to see. I got a picture of you trying to shove me out. Looks like to you I'm trying to leave. Each little broken piece of what we thought was fine is laid out for all the world to see. We've sold off everything that wasn't yours or mine. We'll never satisfy the monster that we're feeding. I got a picture and you got a photograph. We both see what we want to see. I got a picture of you trying to shove me out. Looks like to you I'm trying to leave. You won't get the chance to prove who's right or wrong. You just get the chance to prove what's good. And you got a photograph. We both see what we want to see. I got a picture of you trying to shove me out. Looks like to you I'm trying to leave. Looks like to you I'm trying to leave. Like I'm trying to leave. Thank you. This song is was an older song that I recorded in the 90s, and it was a hit for me at home in Texas and nowhere else in the world until this skinny boy from Australia got a hold of it, and he made it a worldwide hit, which was a really good thing for my family. And my wife had the great idea of, when I was writing this book of short fiction, she said, you ought to take an old chestnut and see if you can't find a short story in it. And so I found it in this song, and so it's also on this new record that they have for sale over there, just around the corner. So But with all due respect to Mr. Urban, this is the West Texas version right here. So. Lit chicks just like a Timex, never lets up on you. Who said life was easy? The job is never through. It'll run us till we're ragged, it'll harden our hearts. Love could use a day of rest before we both start falling apart. Pray that it's raining on Sunday, storming like crazy. We'll hide under the covers all afternoon. Baby, whatever comes Monday, take care of yourself, 'cause we've got better things that we can do when it's raining on your love is like religion across in Mexico. Your kiss is like the incense of a prayer nailed to the door. I surrender is much sweeter when we both let go. Let the water wash our bodies clean and love wash our souls. Baby, whatever comes Monday, take care of yourself, 'cause we've got better things that we can do when it's raining on Sunday. Pray that it's raining on Sunday, storming like crazy. We'll hide under the covers all afternoon. Baby, whatever comes Monday, take care of yourself, 'cause we've got better things that we can do when it's raining on Sunday. When it's raining on Sunday. When it's raining on Sunday. Thank you. Don't let this part scare you. I promise that I'm going to read you one of the shorter stories in the book, and then I'm going to play the song that goes with it right afterwards. And I promise that what is on these pages This is my beat-up work copy of the book, but I promise that what's on these pages is in this book. It's just that I tried to get my publisher, Working Title Farm out of North Carolina, to publish the book in the elder font. and the head of the company, Sherry Smith, refused. She said it's too expensive. So I just printed it in the elder font myself so that I can read it to y'all. This is called the Bridge Club. In 1963, Bridge Club was holy. It was mentioned in reverential tones the way that one spoke of church on Easter Sunday or of University of Texas football. Bridge Club ladies arrived in as much Jackie Kennedy style as their provincial pocketbooks could manage. Their red lipstick, poofy hair, sleek dresses, Italian purses, and sometimes even white gloves were more important than who won the game. All that finery was purchased at Frost's in San Antonio, perhaps Neiman's in Dallas, and driven home to West Texas in station wagons. Bridge Club was a religious ritual with vestments. Rituals are important. They bind us. Families pass them down generation to generation. The way my family prays at the dinner table, or that I am forevermore elated by time spent in nature, were gifts given to me by my folks. My father knew that catching crawdads in the irrigation ditch would lead to hiking in the national parks with him and later with my own children. But as much as my mother tried many times to teach me the game of bridge, it never took. The DNA required to appreciate the elegance of a silver coffee set was not passed down to me, but the pull of the outdoors is in my blood. My feet were muddy from my first steps. One of my earliest memories as a child was of my father teaching me to pee in the backyard. It was my first rite of passage and is as important as confirmation, going fishing, learning to shoot a gun, high school graduation, and touching a girl's breast for the first time. If you're busy being the Lone Ranger in the backyard, going to the bathroom is a waste of time. There's so many other grand adventures you could be having. Playing with matchbox cars, being a pirate on a swing set, or running through the sprinkler were all much more important than peeing. At 3.5, peeing was not worth thinking about until I had to go so bad that wide-eyed fear overtook me and I had to run into the house. The day my father told me that I could just unzip my britches and go on one of the 3 large shade trees in our backyard was as miraculous an experience as Moses receiving those ancient tablets of stone. He was planting tomatoes and I was helping by playing in the water and the dirt. When I started dancing around, he knew immediately what was up. Son, you can go and pee on that big pecan tree and then come back and help me finish. Mama won't get mad? No, just be sure and wash up when you go inside. We'll remind you. I ran over to that pecan, took good aim, and hit it with a great deal of satisfaction. My father then told me that if I had to go, my father then told me that if I was playing in the backyard and needed to go and didn't have time to get to the bathroom inside, I could always run behind one of the shade trees. This was a revelation from the heavens. No longer would I be scolded for not closing the door because I was in a hurry. No longer would I dribble down the hall to the bathroom. No longer would I have to quit being Davy Crockett and go in the house. I could be Davy Crockett peeing in the woods. Growing up in my family, the thing that bound us together more than anything else was music. Music was sacred. We sang in church on Sunday, and that brought comfort, but the music on summer nights brought joy. Fireflies came out at sunset like magic and lit up our backyard. Daddy and his friends were playing music on the back porch, and the lightning bugs were the light show. The music, the laughter, homemade ice cream, and a mason jar full of glowing bugs meant that all was right with the world. The circle of wood, wire, and voices on our back porch that filled the air on any Saturday night worth remembering shaped and molded me from a boy to a man. It taught me empathy, faith, profanity, manners, the love of brown whiskey, and the chords to the long black veil. If I close my eyes on my own black porch, strumming a beat-up Gibson flat top, I'm instantly there again, standing on my mama's toes to dance with her before falling asleep to guitars, mandolins, and voices in harmony. A handful of years later, my father would help me put my fingers on the frets. After a while, I was allowed to join the circle on that porch with my own guitar. Holy rituals are not always fun. If getting to stay up and listen to music on Saturday nights was the high point, Friday morning bridge club was the low. It required model behavior and hygiene, neither of which came naturally to me. When it was my mother's turn to host, there was no Captain Kangaroo for me. Everything in the house had to be perfect. So if Granny was not busy, I could stay with her. She was not near as concerned about my hygiene. Granny lived in a small house at the far end of our backyard. I loved her fiercely. She never made me take a nap, always knew what was fun to play, and had invented mint Oreos by putting sticks of Wrigley's double mint gum in the cookie jar for a day. She was a genius. She had a little flower garden in front of her house. On the bridge club morning most vivid in my mind in the fall of 1963, I asked her permission to water the window box and garden, knowing that she might then let me play in the dirt and look for roly-poly bugs. That morning, just before lunch, all the ladies came outside to smoke, chat, drink coffee, and enjoy the sunshine. Normally, I would not even notice, especially since I had a pie pan full of roly-polies to play with. But I spotted the beautiful Mrs. Julia Ann Bell. She was younger and prettier than the other ladies, at least to me. She was slimmer but somehow curvier than my mother's other friends. I did not know why I always wanted to stare at her or talk to her, but I could not help myself. I was mesmerized. I stopped playing with the bugs and stood up, watching her laugh at something Mrs. Crosby was saying. I washed my hands in the hose and walked my muddy toes across the backyard toward them. Mrs. Sullivan was talking and puffing a cigarette back and forth with the speed of a sports announcer, giving Mrs. Bell the play-by-play of her recent encounter with Lady Bird Johnson. Knowing not to interrupt, I stood waiting my turn. Hearing a pause, I blurted out, "Y'all want to see my roly-poly bugs?" "Well, hey there, darling," said the beautiful Mrs. Bell. "Aren't you a sight? I bet this is your last barefoot day this year. You're lucky to have it so late in November. Miss Sullivan and I will both come look at them in a bit, as soon as she finishes telling me about Mrs. Johnson." I waited patiently as I could and rocked back and forth from one foot to another while Mrs. Sullivan talked and talked. I started to make a little dance of my rocking and was mostly trying to catch the beautiful Mrs. Bell's eye. The moment I did, she gave me a little wink, held up a finger to Mrs. Sullivan, and giggled, "Come on, Angela, let's go see the boys' bugs." That wink and giggle excited me so much that I was instantly hit with the need to go. I would never make it to the house. I would never last until I was down the hall, get the door closed, and get my britches open without an accident. My muddy feet on Bridge Club Day meant even further disaster. My salvation lay a mere 10 steps away at the Big Pecan. I ran as fast as I could to the tree as the two ladies set their coffee cups and saucers down on the patio furniture. The moment I had the fly of my jeans open and aimed at that tree, Julia Bell put her hand on my shoulder and asked if this was where my bugs were. And I turned. Relief and horror overwhelmed me as I peed all over the beautiful Mrs. Bell's black suede flats. She jumped back and Mrs. Sullivan shrieked, so I turned towards her, splattering the front of her gray herringbone pencil skirt. A chain reaction had begun. 6 other women, hearing Mrs. Sullivan's cry, ran toward us, fearing some catastrophic injury. I panicked in response to the stampede and began running in circles, spraying anything or anyone in my path. Coffee cups, saucers, and cigarettes flew from their hands in their attempt to flee. I left none of the ladies unscathed. I had peed all over Bridge Club. My bladder empty, my pants still unzipped, I fell in a heap on the grass crying. My mother kneeled down, stood me up, and helped me get my britches back up and buttoned. She hugged and shushed and consoled me until I stopped crying, not caring how dirty she got. Mama didn't scold me till all the ladies were gone, but once they were, she told me in no uncertain terms that I was never allowed to use a tree in front of company again, no matter how badly I needed to go. She finished off her warning with the worst words any boy wants to hear. "Little man, you and I and your daddy are going to have a talk about this when he gets home." I assumed the talk would be aimed at me and possibly feared a spanking, but years later realized that my father had much more to fear from that conversation. I was eating my lunch on the back steps when I heard my father's car throwing gravel up the drive. It was way too early for him to be home. When he got out of the car, his face wore a grimace I didn't understand. My heart sank. He strode toward me in his suit with his tie flying over one shoulder. When he scooped me up, I began to cry for the second time that day. "Evelyn, Evelyn," he called as he burst through the back door and plopped me on the couch. My mother ran crying to him, and he grabbed her in his arms. She buried her face in his chest. The sight of my mother's sobbing, shoulders heaving, terrified me. I began to holler, "I didn't mean to, Mama, I didn't mean to. Daddy, please don't spank me." Both parents looked at me bewildered, not understanding that I thought my mother's turmoil was my fault. No boy wants to be responsible for his mama's tears. Mama kneeled down and hugged me. Daddy put his hand on my head, slowly rubbing my hair, and in his deep voice said, "Nobody's going to spank you, son." Mama said, "This isn't about your accident at Bridge Club, sweetie." She took a deep breath. "They've shot the president." The TV was on all the rest of the day and into the night. Daddy never went back to work. Granny brought my older sister home early from school. The phone rang a lot. Relatives who never paid for long distance called. Our neighbor, Judge Mason, came by. He and my father whispered things I couldn't make out. The grown-ups all spoke quietly and acted solemnly the rest of the day. They shushed me and my sister when some important development came on the television. The whole house was silent when the newsman wept as he told us that John Fitzgerald Kennedy was dead. My mother and grandmother shed silent tears off and on that afternoon. I didn't know what to do. It was my first brush with grief. Neither my sister nor I could fall asleep that night. My father got out the guitar and stood in the hallway between our rooms, playing Amazing Grace, Puff the Magic Dragon, and You Are My Sunshine until we finally drifted off. He repeated that ritual many more times through my childhood, and I continued that tradition with my own children. The gift of simple yet elegant songs on a guitar, passing from generation to generation, began long before November 22nd, 1963. But it was exactly what we needed that night. Music comforted us after both I and our whole nation lost our innocence. Remember, it's fiction. But you write what you know. But that part about my daddy and his friends playing on the back porch, that's the gospel right there. And you know, me and a buddy of mine, Jay Clementi, wrote this song. And it's called The Greatest Show on Earth because neither one of us, he was raised the same way I was, and neither one of us thought the shows ever got any better than those back porches. So here we go. Here we go. Potluck, supper, and barbecue. A cooler full of beer, one for soda stews. Kids chasing fireflies with no shoes. Saturday sundown, Mama hollering, "Y'all wash up. Clean that plate with your cornbread crust. Don't drink from Daddy's Dixie cup." All the guitars are coming out. The cedar planks rattled and moaned. Rocked and rolled to a country song on a couple of sunburst flat tops. Hand-me-down mandolin. Sometimes they have the chords that wrong. We laughed and cried, sang along. Family, friends, harmony, and goosebumps on my skin. Can't put a price on what those nights were worth. It was the greatest show on earth. Some sang low, some high and lonesome. Will that circle be unbroken? Grab a part if you know one, or clap along instead. Son, if you wanna touch a guitar, ask. Sister's sleeping and ain't kids laughing. I'd shake it like Elvis just to make 'em laugh. Before I went to bed, those cedar planks rattle and moan, rocked and rolled to a country song on a couple of sunburst flat tops, hand-me-down mandolin. Sometimes they had the chords half wrong. We laughed and cried, sang along. Family, friends, harmony, and goosebumps on my skin. Can't put a price on what those nights were worth. It was the greatest show on earth. Take a little break, talk a little fishing. Let the crickets sing the intermission. I drift off to dreamland and maybe fire it up again. With those cedar planks rattled and moaned, rocked and rolled to a country song on a couple of sunburst flat tops, hand-me-down mandolin. Sometimes they had the chords half wrong. We laughed and cried, sang along. Family, friends, harmony, and goosebumps on my skin. Can't put a price on what those nights were worth. It was the greatest show on earth. It was the greatest show on earth. Greatest show on earth. Thank you. I wrote this because my wife is from the Bay Area, and we were out there, and I got inspired, and I wrote this song, you know. But tonight it's dedicated to Yorma because he spent his formative years in California, and although almost everything in this song takes place in New Mexico, so that's a whole nother mess. But anyway, this is called California. It was a beer and a bourbon, a conversation and a kiss that started a fire. Led to a night of holding each other close through teardrops and desires. Two half-broken people heading west shared a motel room, killed a little emptiness. Morning came too soon. On the way to California, can't you hear California? I'm calling your name. A siren song, once you hear it, nothing is the same. Made ancient Spaniards sail, made Guthrie ride the rails. Oh, California. That highway to freedom became a sweet lost weekend for me and you. Detour through the mountains up to Santa Fe with nothing much to do. You said you're starting over in LA. Now that he's cut you loose, I'm headed north of there. I might land in Santa Cruz. On the way, California. Can't you hear California? I'm calling your name. siren song. Once you hear it, nothing is the same. Called Marilyn Monroe, made miners rush for gold. Oh, California, I know a year is come and gone, and that you probably moved on. But girl, your memory won't go away. I know that this sounds crazy wrong, but if you hear this song, October 1st, meet me in Morro Bay. Can't you hear California? I'm calling your name. Siren song, once you hear it, nothing is the same. She's whispering soft and low, come and hold me close. Oh, California, in California, in California. Thank you. This is another one that Mr. Urban borrowed from me. He can borrow any he wants. I almost swallowed the cough drop. Hang on, I'm gonna drink some water. Not a song you want to choke your way through, so here we go. Love doesn't come with a contract. You give me this, I give you that. It's scary business. Your heart and soul is on the line. Baby, why is would I be standing around here so tongue-tied? If I knew what I was doing, I'd be doing it right now. I wouldn't be the best damn poet. Silver words out of my mouth. My words might not be magic, but they cut straight to the truth. If you need a lover and a friend, baby, I'm in. Baby, come on in, the water's fine. I'll be right here, you take your time. Just let me hold you, and we'll both take that leap of faith. It's like I told you, there's no guarantees when you feel this way. If I knew what I was doing, I'd be doing it right now. I would be the best damn poet, silver words out of my mouth. My words might not be magic, but they cut straight to the truth. If you need a lover and a friend, baby, I'm in. I'm in. Baby, come here next to me. I'll show you how good it can be. I breathe each breath you breathe. I can pour out everything I have. If I knew what I was doing, be doing it right now. I would be the best damn poet, silver words out of my mouth. My words might not be magic, but they cut straight to the truth. If you need a lover and a friend, if you need a lover and a friend, baby, I'm in. I'm in. Baby, I'm in. I'm in. Baby, come here next to me. I show you how good it can be. I breathe each breath you breathe. I can pour out everything I am. Baby, come here next to me. I show you how good it can be. I breathe each breath you breathe. I can pour out everything I am. Baby, come here next to me. Baby, come here next to me. Baby, come here. Baby, come here. Baby, come here. Baby, come here. Thank you. Sorry to tune in front of you, but it's only because I care. I'm pretty sure that if we held a survey, I've made more mistakes than anybody else in this room. However, this song is only about half of my mistakes. So there you go. Half of my mistakes I made stone cold sober. Half of my mistakes I made at closing time. Half the time I never saw it coming till it was over. Oh, half of my mistakes I made with love on the line. Half of my mistakes I swear I should have known better. Half of my mistakes were just amongst friends. You get a little distance on it, the truth is clearer. Oh, half of my mistakes I'd probably make them again. And if I had it all to do over, I'm sure I'd win and lose just as much. But spend less time on right and wrong and a lot more time on love. Half of my mistakes I made 'cause I was moving too quickly. Half of them were made 'cause my heart was moving too slow. Nobody can tell you a damn thing if you ain't listening. Oh, half of my mistakes I made 'cause I couldn't let go. Let it go. I'd win and lose just as much. But spend less time on right and wrong, a lot more time on love. Half of my mistakes I'd give anything to change how it ended. Half of my mistakes, God, I wouldn't change a thing. You can lean too hard on regret, but I don't recommend it. 'Cause half the good things in my life came from half my mistakes. Yeah, a lot of good things in my life came from half my mistakes. Thank you. If y'all clap enough, I think I could coax Yorma to come back out and do a song with me. This is from this latest record, For You to See the Stars. This is called Howlin'. There was a howling, screaming demon blasting out of Mexico. You could hear it from Del Rio to the Hudson Bay. It was powered by rock and roll. Now when I've heard that smokestack lightning on a transistor glowing in the dark. It was pounding and a rumbling and a tumbling under covers. Got way deep up inside my heart. I say, how on the radio, how scared the hell out of your mama and your daddy. Must be bad business tumbling in that beat. 'Cause ain't a kid in the world can resist it. That boogalooing up and down the street. I say, how on the radio, how out of Mexico, how. Now some folks think I'm headed straight for hell. Oh, but God don't bless or curse no beat far as I can tell. Turn up that till the groove gets to thumping, till everybody in this joint gets to jumping. So if you hear that smokestack lightning on your brand new voodoo phone, it might pound and rumble, twist and shout, wiggle down inside your soul. Might creep in and get a hold of your soul. I see how on the radio, how out of Mexico. I say, how get up inside your soul. I say, how on the radio, how out of Mexico. I say, how get up inside your soul. I say, how I see how Yarma Gargaden. Woo!
It's official, I have goosebumps.
That was fun.
I've bent a few notes that Y'all, this song changed my life. The military call the flights that they make to take their fallen brethren home an angel flight. And they hold that duty sacred. And my friend Darden Smith and I wrote this song together, and it has carried us into all kinds of ways in which we've been able to work with veterans for years ever since. And it is an honor and a privilege to be part of that world. And this is Angel Flight. All I ever wanted to do was fly, leave this world and live in the sky. I left a C-130 at a Fort Worth town. I go up some days I don't want to come down. I fly that plane called the Angel Flight. Come on, brother, you're with me tonight. Between heaven and earth, never alone. On the Angel Flight, come on, brother, I'm taking you home. Love my family and I love this land, but tonight this flight's for another man. Do what we do 'cause we heard the call. Some gave a little, but he gave it all. So I fly that plane called the Angel Flight. Come on, brother, you're with me tonight. Between heaven and earth, never alone. On the Angel Flight, come on, brother, I'm taking you home. Come on, brother, I'm taking you Well, the cockpit's quiet and the stars are right. It feels kind of like church in here tonight. It don't matter where we touch down. On the Angel Flight, it's sacred ground. Fly that plane called the Angel Flight. Got a hero riding with us tonight. Between heaven and earth, never alone. On the Angel Flight, come on, brother, I'm taking you home. Come on, brother, I'm taking you home. Come on, brother, I'm taking you home. Come on, brother, I'm taking you home.
Thank you very much. Pray for our troops who are in harm's way and for their families. When I was 20 years old, I woke my mother and daddy up in the middle of the night, and I said, Mom and Daddy, I got something heavy on my heart I got to talk to you about. And my mother said, oh, good Lord, what is it now? I said, I think God wants me to drop out of college so I can be a singer and a songwriter. And my dad sat bolt upright in bed at that point, and, you know, I don't really believe that I'd had his full and utter attention in life until that very moment. But I had it then. And he made a long sigh, and he said, son, I've known God a long, long time. And I don't believe he wants any son of mine to drop out of college. You heard wrong. They cut a deal. I don't know with who, but they cut a deal. 3 days later, I was loading my Volkswagen full of everything I owned to move to Nashville. And my mother's best friend, who was a rancher's daughter, like my mom, had made me a banana bread, and I don't know why, but they're delicious, you know what I mean? So who doesn't need a banana bread, you know? So anyway, she made one for me, and she handed it to me. She said, Radney, you got to be careful about that music business. It's just like rodeo, and it'll get in your blood, and you can't get it out. And I said, I'll be careful, Sarah. But it bugged me, and I had 1,200 miles to have to drive, and I got about 90 of them, and I pulled the car over, and I wrote the first verse to this song. Now, I was 20 and couldn't write my way out of a wet paper bag, but I learned. But that verse haunted me for 7 more years. It went from notepad to notepad, from cassette to cassette, from cheap apartment to cheap apartment. And ultimately, it ended up I finished it right before we started the first Foster and Lloyd record. And it became a hit for Foster and Lloyd. And it, you know, became later a hit again for me and Pat Green when I started my own independent career after I got off a major label. And ultimately, what was in my head that got me to finish it after all those years of struggling with it was that it was about something bigger than just rodeo. It was about when we have a dream and we chase it, when we're a dreamer and we chase it with everything that we are. And so I know that, you know, Yorma does a lot of seminars and stuff around here, both for songwriting and for guitar playing. So if if you got a dream, just chase that thing as hard as you can. And even though we're in Ohio, I think this might relate. So here we go. I can hear the wind whisper my name, telling me it's time to head out again. My horses are trailered and the lights are shut down. I'm long overdue for heading out of town. Got a fever that they call the rodeo, just enough winnings to make the next show. Sometimes you make 8, sometimes you hit dirt. Go on, pin another number to the back of my shirt, and I'll ride that pony fast like a cowboy from the past. Be young and wild and free, like Texas in 1880, just like Texas in 1880. I'm from Phoenix and Tulsa to the Astrodome, from New York City down to San Antone. There's boys who are riding for legendary fame, and our money's all gone, but we ride just the same. Our hearts are getting broken and our heads are getting busted. We'll always believe in the things that we trusted. There'll be those nights when glory comes around, and we'll tip our hats and wave to the crowd, and then ride that pony fast like a cowboy from the past. Be young and wild and free, like Texas in
someone will see that buckle hanging there on your belt. Ask you just how it felt to ride that pony fast, like a cowboy from the past. Be young and wild and free, like Texas in 1880, just like Texas in 1880, just like Texas, just like Fur Peace Ranch. Thank you. I wrote this with an Ohio girl named Kim Ritchie, and if y'all haven't had her up here, you need to. You say this ain't over yet. I've said things that I'll regret. Won't be easy to forget. Scars take time to heal. Before another bitter word gets loose, I was hoping we could call a truce. 'Cause nobody wins, we both lose. Hearts get broken and love gets bruised. And we light that same old fuse again and again. Nobody wins, slamming doors. We both lost this fight before, and I won't play that game no more, 'cause nobody wins. Darling, we got too much pride. It don't matter who's wrong or right. Honey, love ain't black and white. So where I feel about you, all I wanna do is hold you tight. I can't take another angry night. Nobody wins, we both lose. Hearts get broken and love gets bruised. We light that same old fuse again and again. Nobody wins, slamming doors. We both lost this fight before, and I won't play that game no more, 'cause nobody wins. I know something's bound to break if we don't bend. Baby, what's it gonna take? Nobody wins, we both lose. Hearts get broken and love gets bruised. When we light that same old fuse again and again. Nobody wins, slamming doors. We both lost this fight before, and I won't play that game no more, 'cause nobody wins. Nobody wins. Nobody wins.
Thank y'all so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thanks for coming out. I was in Denver one time and I sang that big note and I said, good Lord, I need water and oxygen after that note. This woman sitting down front said, me too. I got a tune funny, I'm sorry.
What was that tune?
Oh, the one previously on the guitar?
Yeah.
It was Dadgad. D-A-D-G-A-D. It's a drunk Irishman's tune. Taught to me by Paul Brady. Obviously, that he's an Irish poet and songwriter. This is an open G with a C in the bass. I didn't see all the things that were going to come to me through this song. I was just writing a song for my 5-year-old who was moving away with his mom to France. So I wrote a lullaby. I didn't think I would ever record it other than the number of times, you know, I put it 5 or 6 times on a cassette, and so that he had one of those Fisher-Price, you know, big button things that he could. Should I explain a cassette? Nah, not for this audience. Never mind. No, it's like, yeah, it's okay. Everybody's above a certain age where it's. If you got kids in the audience, just explain it on your way home, okay? But I ended up putting it on a record, and the lovely Emmylou Harris sang background vocals on it, and it ended up getting recorded by 3 girls from Texas called the Chicks, and it went out worldwide because of that. And I didn't expect that, you know, all these years later, that, you know, moms would come up to me and say, I just married off my 24-year-old and danced the mother-son dance to this song. And I was like, wow, I didn't see that coming. I didn't see the number of times that we would get letters asking what permissions we needed to put some of the lyrics on a child's grave. If that won't humble you, nothing will. And it's one of those things where you realize, you know, songwriters always talk about, you know, there's craftsmanship, and there's you know, there's intention, and there's poetry, and there's all the things that you need to work at, you know, melody and you know, getting your point across and all that stuff. But there's times when, you know, you're just holding the pen. So. Dragging tails and the water is white. Pirates sail and lost boys fly. Fish by moonbeams every night. And I love you. Godspeed, little man. Sweet dreams, little man. Oh, my love will fly to you each night on angels' wings. Godspeed, sweet dreams. The rocket racers all tuckered out. Superman's in pajamas on the couch. Good night, moon, we'll find the mouse. And I love you. Godspeed, little man. Sweet dreams, little man. Oh, my love will fly to you each night on angels' wings. Godspeed, sweet dreams. God bless Mommy and Matchbox cars. God bless Dad and thanks for the stars. God hears amen wherever we are. And I love you. Godspeed, little man. Sweet dreams, little man. Oh, my love will fly to you each night on angels' wings. Godspeed, 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 sweet dreams. Sweet dreams. Bendiciones. Godspeed. Dulces sueños. Sweet dreams, y'all. Thank you so much. I think they're going to arrange where you guys can go see, get some stuff. I'm going to be back here in just a little bit to sign autographs. So, come see me. Thank you.